John Cruz here with the Cashion Icon Series John Cruz Signature Deep Crank Rod. Now when I need to pick up a rod to throw a deep diving crankbait, this is the one. It is a 7-foot, 10-inch, medium heavy action, but it's extremely parabolic. Now what that means is it bends throughout the length of the rod. The rod bends through, and that's what you want with a crankbait rod. You want that parabolic bend, or moderate action is what they call it. Then that total length is a big deal to me, but it's just not all the length. Big deal for me with the deep crank rod is making sure that you don't have too long of a handle. What that does is it allows you to have all the length of your rod from the reel seat to the tip. So we have a slightly shorter reel handle than you would expect on a 7-foot, 10-inch rod, but it allows you plenty of room and leverage to make those really long casts, to make those big lob casts. You can get a lot of leverage still on this reel handle, but it allows all of that action and all of the energy to build in the tip of the rod so that you can sling and throw that thing an absolute country mile. Starting with the bottom, you can see it's got the split grip. Just like all the Cashion rods do, you've got that split grip, and it's got the carbon fiber mesh reel handle. I just absolutely love that. That is a big deal to me. It keeps it from slipping in your hands no matter if it's wet or you have sunscreen on your hands, no matter what. They're very sensitive and they don't slip. And that's why I love those carbon fiber grips. And you can see very easily down there, there's the label for the Icon Deep Crank Rod. You can just look very quickly and you can see it says Deep Crank Rod. You know you're picking up the right rod. As we move up, it's got the exposed reel seat on the bottom so you can feel the blank as you're holding that reel. And then as we move up, you can see it's got that hook hanger right in front of the reel. So you can put your big deep diving crankbait right on the front of your reel. You don't have to hang it on your reel. You don't have to do anything to damage your reel with your hooks. You can put that right there on the front. Then you can store that on the front of your deck of your boat just as flat and calm, no problems there. As we're moving up, you're gonna see that signature Icon blank very distinctly on there, and that blank is very light, very sensitive, and you'll definitely notice it when you pick up a long rod like this of how light and sensitive it is. And just like all the Cashion products, the blank is made right there in North Carolina, and the rod is fully assembled right there in North Carolina. That's right, made in the USA. And then as we continue to go up, you'll see that first wave microwave guide on the front of the rod. That is just big key, especially when you're trying to cast long distance. It's going to help funnel your line into making the energy from your line go straight through your guides. Then you notice the small guides throughout the rest of the rod. So extremely sensitive, cast a mile. It's got just the right action. It's everything that you need in a deep crankbait rod, and it can handle crankbaits from a 1/2 ounce all the way up to those big boys like a 10XD. I will throw a 10XD on this rod in a heartbait, but it's really just made for what's the most common size, like a Strike King 6XD or a Spro Little John DD 70. That is exactly what this rod is made for, and if that's your deep crankbait of choice, I highly suggest this deep crankbait rod.